are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
Okay, people, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. After years of Whoopi Goldberg shutting down conservative voices, talking down to guests as if they don't matter, and treating The View like her own personal empire, she finally ran into someone who wasn't afraid to fight back.
If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help because...
But this wasn't just a debate. It was a reckoning. Karoline called out Whoopi's blatant hypocrisy, shut down her nonsense, and for the first time in history, left the entire panel in complete silence. And now? The fallout is massive. ABC executives are scrambling to do damage control, whispers are circulating about potential terminations, and Whoopi. She might just be on her way out for good. So, what exactly did Karoline say that made Whoopi look like a fool on national television? Stay tuned, because this is one moment you do not want to miss. But before we dive in, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more uncensored political showdowns, brutal truth bombs, and epic takedowns. Did you subscribe? Awesome. Let's get into it.
I had something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here. Oh, yeah. Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
The most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
The downfall began when Whoopi, Joy Behar, and the rest of the View panel thought they could gang up on Karoline Leavitt, attempting to lecture her on wokeness. Spoiler alert, it backfired badly. Whoopi, with her usual smug attitude, rolled her eyes, acting like she was above the conversation. And Joy Behar couldn't resist adding her own comments on the situation.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Oh, so now we're ranking women based on looks? The hypocrisy is unreal. Aren't these the same women who claim to be feminists? The same ones who scream about women's empowerment? Funny how that only applies if the woman in question isn't conservative. If she is, they mock, they demean, and they attack. It's disgusting.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit of, well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job
And here's where things get really good. Karoline didn't flinch. She didn't stutter. She destroyed their entire narrative with one simple fact.
Are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
Colleagues,
I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good. So good. In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you know who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the moderator.
Karoline didn't hold back. She responded, saying, "Whooping, do you even hear yourself? You sit the preaching about women's empowerment, yet the moment a conservative woman succeeds, you claim it's because of her looks. That is the real sexism." Wow, talk about a mic drop moment. The audience froze, and even Joy Behar, who loves interrupting, didn't say a word. But Karoline wasn't finished. She continued, "Wokeness is not about equality. It's a political weapon used to silence those who disagree. And Whoopi, you prove it every single day on this show." The audience were stunned and social media exploded within minutes. Hashtag Whoopi exposed and hashtag Karoline owns The View were trending nationwide. And ABC? They were panicking because what happened next only made things worse.
While I vow to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boom. She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Bam!
ABC's top executives were in full-blown panic mode. Almost immediately, reports started circulating that the higher-ups were furious with Whoopi. Behind the scenes, producers were losing their minds. Sponsors, they were getting cold feet. And perhaps the most shocking part, even some of The View's most loyal audience members began turning their backs on the show. And then, the real bombshell dropped. Whoopi Goldberg, nowhere to be seen. She was mysteriously absent from the next broadcast. No warning, no explanation, just gone. And what was ABC's official excuse? Whoopi is taking time to reflect on recent discussions. Oh, please, we all know what that really means. Whoopi Goldberg, the undisputed face of The View, was suddenly on the chopping block. And just like that, the fallout only got worse. At this point, it couldn't be any clearer. ABC is at a crossroads. They now have a monumental decision to make. Do they finally clean house and bring some desperately needed balance to The View? Or do they double down on their failures, risking complete destruction of the show? Because let's be honest, The View has always thrived on controversy, but there's a breaking point. When the outrage outweighs the ratings boost, it's game over. And right now, they are teetering on the edge. Advertisers are backing away. The show's credibility is in tatters. Viewers, they're tuning out in droves. The View might finally be on its last legs, and let's be real. Did Karoline Leavitt just deliver the final nail in the coffin? Okay, people, this is where you come in. Was this the most legendary takedown in The View's history? Did Whoopi finally cross the line for good? And here's the big question. Does she deserve to be fired? Or, more importantly, is this the end for The View? Drop your thoughts down below. And before you go, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay locked in for more breaking updates and uncensored takedowns.